Hi students, today I am going to discuss about next animal tissues in the chapter of tissues. Animals are made of different types of tissues where each tissue is capable of performing some specific function. So each tissue will have some perfect function. So like muscles, blood, nerves, lymph, etc. These are all tissue which are specialized to perform various functions in our body. So based on these functions, animal tissues are classified into following manner. See, animal tissues are classified into epithelial tissue, connective tissue, muscular tissue and nervous tissue. So epithelial tissue which is present in the skin. Connective tissue, we know blood is a connective tissue, blood, lymph, etc. And muscular tissue, muscles. Again the muscles are different types: striated muscles, non-striated muscles and cardiac muscles. And again nervous tissue made up of nerves. Then in connective tissue we can see different types: areolar tissue, adipose, skeletal, fluid connective tissue, dense regular tissue. Again in skeletal tissue, bone and cartilage. And again in fluid connective tissue, blood and lymph. And in dense regular tissue, tendons and ligaments. Like this it is classified. Let's see about epithelial tissue. Epi means upon, theli means nipple. So it is upon the nipple, means it is simplest and the most fundamental tissue in animals, which forms a sheet of cells. Like a sheet, it will cover our body to protect the animal body. So it are present in both external and also in visceral organs. The cells are also packed closely with each other. Cells will be packed very closely with each other so that intercellular spaces are not there. So the cells are cemented together by intercellular functions. So the cells are packed so closely, no intercellular spaces will be present, and they are cemented together, connected together by intercellular functions. Then epithelial tissue rests over extracellular matrix called basement membrane. So where this sheet of cells are covering over the basement membrane, which is made up of glycoprotein and collagen fibers. It joins the epithelial tissue through connective tissue. This basement membrane will connect the epithelial tissue with the connective tissue. The connective tissue also supplies the epithelial tissue with blood vessels. So epithelium, see here, depending on the arrangement of layers, how the layers are arranged, it is divided into simple epithelium and striated epithelium. Next, depending upon their cell shape, it is divided into squamous epithelium, cuboidal epithelium, columnar epithelium. Next, depending upon their functions, like sensory epithelium, germinal epithelium, ciliated epithelium, glandular epithelium. So all these are the different types of epithelium depending upon the function, shape or arrangement of layers. Then epithelial tissue which covers our body, like skin, over the skin, covering the layer of alveoli of lungs. It also covers the alveoli of the lungs. It also covers the alimentary canal. It also covers the lining of the mouth, lining of kidney tubules and urinary tract, etc. So it forms the lining of all. Here we can see striated keratinized squamous epithelium is found in skin. In skin, keratinized squamous epithelium is found. It covers external dry surface of skin by forming many layers. The skin will be of so many layers. Deeper layers have cuboidal cells which becomes polygonal and finally flattened towards free surface. So the deep layer will be cuboidal. After that it will become polygonal and up layer of the skin will be finally flat. So this flattened cells contain fibrous protein called keratin. It is highly waterproof and resistant to mechanical injuries. What are the various functions performed by epithelial tissue in our body? It will cover the body and also it protects against any mechanical injury of the body. And also it protects us from many pathogens such as bacteria, virus, and it also helps us from drying out, and also it helps us to protect from harmful chemicals, pollutants, etc. It also protects the internal organs by forming a lining on their surfaces such as alimentary canal, reproductive duct, etc. In lungs, alveoli, epithelium helps in diffusion of gases between air and blood. So in intestines also, epithelium will help in the absorption of water and also in the absorption of digested food. So epithelium even helps us in the healing of injuries on the organs. Then next is connective tissue. So the name itself is telling it is connecting or binding or joining the tissues to one another in our body. So the whole body can function in an integrated unit. So it consists of many scattered living cells in a non-living gel called matrix, and it contains so much of carbohydrates and proteins. The matrix may be solid or fluid. The solid matrix may be bones and cartilage, and fluid matrix will be blood. Then connective tissue separate the various organs of the body from each other, and also it acts as a protective sheath around them. So it is the most abundant tissue found in the body of organisms. So connective tissue is the most abundant tissue. So based upon the nature of matrix in which cells of connective tissue are embedded, the connective tissue is classified as different types, like proper connective tissue in which matrix is soft, and fluid connective tissue where the matrix is liquid, and skeletal connective tissue where the matrix is solid. And the proper connective tissue may be areolar tissue, adipose tissue, or dense regular tissue. The skeletal tissue includes bones and cartilage, whereas fluid connective tissue includes blood and lymph. So first we will see what is areolar tissue. So areolar tissues, these are the packaging tissues. It will pack the tissues between different organs in the cavity of body. So it is also called loose connecting tissues. The matrix will be in semi-solid forms containing white collagen fibers, yellow elastic fibers, fibroblasts, macrophages, plasma cells, etc. So the main function of areolar tissue is it will join the skin to the muscles. It connecting the blood vessels, nerves to the surrounding tissues. It will also makes a covering over nerves, muscles, blood vessels, and also it helps in repairing any mechanical stress or damage, and binding of body structures by filling the space inside the organs in order to prevent their dislocation. So the organs to prevent from their dislocation, changing of the location. So it will help to fill up the space. Then next is adipose tissue. So what is adipose tissue? This is a specialized tissue, and it will store fats and it in the cells, and that cells are called adipocytes. See, the adipocytes are the large spherical cells having fat globules present in the cytoplasm. Because they store fats, fat globules will be present. Rest of the structural features are same as areolar tissue. So it will be same as areolar tissue only, but the only difference is it will be having fat cells, that is globules, fat globules. So it is present in the body organisms beneath the skin. So around the heart, kidneys, cushions around the eyes, etc. So the main function is it will store fat. Because it stores fat, it also helps in absorbing the shock. It is called shock absorbing tissue, and also it helps in insulating tissue against extremely cold surroundings. Because of the fat stored under the skin in this tissue, it will helps us to insulate the cold surroundings. So examples of adipose tissues are in whales, blubber, hump in camels, etc. Then next is skeletal tissue. Skeletal tissue occurs in a rigid matrix called supportive connective tissue. The living cells present in the solid matrix in the fluid filled lacuna, so are chambers embedded in the matrix. So in the matrix, the living cells are just present in the solid matrix. So the bone. So bone is a very strong, rigid and non-flexible skeletal tissue in which the fluid filled called lacuna containing bone cells which in the solid matrix, and that bone cells are called osteocytes and the hardest cell in the body. So the matrix is made up of collagenous protein. That protein is called osine, and inorganic bone salts are present like carbonates, phosphates of calcium and magnesium are present. So these bone cells are supplied with nerves and blood vessels which will provide nutrients, and also it helps in gaseous exchange. So bones will provide supportive framework to the body. It also protects the internal organs from stress or injury. Some bones also contain cavities in which a soft connective tissue called bone marrow will be present. So in this bone marrow only red blood cells are manufactured. So bones are also store mineral nutrients such as calcium, phosphorus, etc. in the body. Next, cartilage. Unlike bones, cartilage is also hard but flexible connective tissue, and the fluid filled lacuna present in the matrix contains some cells called chondrocytes. Here in bones, osteocytes, and in cartilage they are called chondrocytes. So this cartilage occurs at the ends of the long bones, and it also absorbs shocks or stresses. It also occurs in the walls of respiratory drugs, invertebral discs, in ear pinna, in the ends of nose, etc. So it also provides flexibility to the body parts as it can be compressed. So cartilage, it is hard but flexible connective tissue. That's why it will provide flexibility to the body parts. So and it can be compressed. So here cartilage forms cells called chondroblasts occur in the form of layer below perichondrium. A layer of inactive cells similar to osteoblasts occur around the bone marrow is called endosteum. Next, what is the difference between bone and cartilage? So bone is very rigid, strong and inelastic, whereas cartilage is soft, flexible and elastic. So the matrix contains both organic substances and inorganic substances. Here cartilage contains only organic substances. Bone cells are supplied with nerves and blood vessels, but in cartilage no blood or nerve cells supply is seen. Then what is fluid connective tissue? So it is the mobile connective tissue, means moving connective tissue, and it is also called vascular tissue. So free cells are seen floating in this fluid matrix which can flow freely. So there are two types of fluid connective tissues, blood and lymph. Blood is the red color viscous tissue which flows in the entire body in blood vessels. The liquid matrix of blood is called plasma, and it will be in yellow color which contains proteins, water, hormones, heparin and nutrients. What is heparin? It will help in not to coagulate the blood. So and nutrients like amino acids, vitamins, fatty acids are present. The various components of blood present in the plasma are red blood cells, RBCs, or they are also called erythrocytes, and white blood corpuscles or leukocytes, and blood platelets. So we can see here leukocytes. Next, so from this we can summarize that what are the functions of the blood. It will transport the substances such as gases, hormones, nutrients, metabolic wastes between different parts, and also it helps in production of antibodies, antitoxins against pathogens, and also disease causing substances. Hence it will play active role in the body defense. So because of the production of antibodies and antitoxins. So it also helps in the clotting of blood, so and maintenance of the body temperature and regulation of the body temperature. Next, lymph. Lymph is a very pale yellow colored fluid tissue. It is filtered out of blood capillaries. So it will be flowing in the blood capillaries through lymph capillaries and lymph vessels. It don't have erythrocytes and blood platelets. White blood cells are abundant in lymph. The main function is to carry the secretion and materials from tissues into the blood, and from blood into the tissues. So from the tissues to the blood and blood to the tissues, it will carry the materials and the secretions. It also helps in the trapping of microbes and destroy them. So it will also protect the body against infection caused by them. Then next is dense regular tissue. So it is formed closely packed cells and elastic fibers, and it is of two types, tendons and ligaments. So tendon is a white fibrous tissue made up of collagen. So it is a tough, inelastic cord-like structures formed of bundles of collagen fibers. The areolar tissue occurs in the outside and joins skeletal muscle and bone. So these are tendons which attach a muscle to the bone, and it is a white fibrous tissue, and it will be inelastic, tough, and it form like a bundles of collagen fibers. And ligament, it is a yellow fibrous tissue, and it is elastic, and few collagen fibers will be present. It is strong and flexible. It binds two bones together, so it is flexible. We can bend or move our bones like a joint. So remember, tendon is muscle to bone attachment, ligament is bone to bone attachment. Then so tendons are tough, inelastic, ligaments are strong and flexible. So tendons join skeletal muscles with bone, and ligament, two bones are joined. Then next is muscular tissue. So muscular tissue consists of elongated cells called muscle fibers. So contractile proteins are held together inside the cells. So many contractile proteins are present inside the cells which contract and relax, so that movement of cells. So to contract and relaxation of muscles, these cells help. These contractile elements are called myofibrils. These muscles also contract and relax in definite direction. So muscular tissue is a contractile tissue. These are responsible for the movement of organisms. Locomotion means movement of organisms, movement of limbs, beating of heart, motion of blood in blood vessels, movement of food through alimentary canal. So all these activities will be carried because of the muscle cells. So 40% of the human body is due to the muscle weight. So muscles are necessary for the movement of all the body parts. There are three main type of muscles possible. They are striated muscles, non-striated muscles, and cardiac muscles. Striated muscles, they are called voluntary muscles, means voluntarily we can move the muscles. In vertebrates, around 80% of total mass of soft tissue is striated muscle fibers. Their contraction and relaxation is under the control of the organism. That's why they are voluntary muscles. They are called striated because we can see the presence of light and dark striations or bands over them. So the main function is locomotion of organisms and movement of limbs, inhalation, exhalation, blinking of eyes, voluntary actions, and movement of body. Next, non-striated muscles, they are also called smooth muscles, involuntary muscles. They are absorbed in muscle fibers because they are involuntary. They will not work according to the will of the animal. They are the work due to the response generated from the stimulus due to the requirement of the body. They remain contracted for as long as duration of time without getting fatigue. They will not get fatigue. How much time they want to remain contracted depending on the situation of the body, it will be like that. So the unlike striated muscles which get easily fatigued, means the striated muscles will immediately will get fatigued, but non-striated muscles will not get fatigued easily. The smooth muscle fibers occur in the walls of vesicular organs such as alimentary canal. They are present in vesicles of alimentary canal, blood vessels, urinary bladder, iris, and ciliary muscles of eye. Iris is a part of eye. Ciliary muscles of eye, skin, dermis, male genital tract, etc. So in all these organs, this is present. What is its main function? It helps in the movement of food through esophagus. So we know how the movement of food will take place in the esophagus by peristaltic movement and removal of the urine from bladder, urinary bladder, by contraction of smooth muscles and focusing on objects and adjustment amount of light entering the eye. So the eye, how it adjusts the amount of the light because of contraction and relaxation of smooth muscles. Then next is cardiac muscles. These are present in heart. So the cardiac muscles are branched fibers in which branch joins to form a network. So each fiber is surrounded by sarcolemma, has sarcoplasm. So like cytoplasm, sarcoplasm, sarcolemma is also present, and and have centrally located nucleus. So myofibrils running longitudinally as seen. Cardiac muscles are also involuntary muscles. They are not under the control of the organisms. They occur in the heart and continue to contract and relax for the whole life. They will be working, contracting and relaxing without getting fatigued. The main function of this is to pump blood out of the heart. Then the next is nervous tissue. So the nervous tissue consists of neuron cells. These cells are specialized to transmit the stimuli received from external or internal agents to different parts in the brain. It consists of brain and spinal cord and sense organs. The tissue is lacking in matrix. You don't have matrix and surrounded by connective tissue. The neuron or nerve cell is the longest cell and it is made up of three parts. What are they? Cyton, the cell body. The cell body contains nucleus of nerve cells, neurofibrils. These are neurofibrils, and which are responsible for the transmission of impulses from one neuron to another. So one neuron to another, the transmission will be taken and given. So transmission is taken place occur here. And next is, this is axon and this is synapse, where connecting of one nerve cell to the another. So let's see. So next, dendrites. So we can see the branches. So small branched projections growing on the cyton. The main function of this is to carry the impulses. So larger dendrites are also called dendrons. Next, axon is a long, uniformly thick cylindrical process growing out of the body. Its main function is to carry impulse away from the cell body. So fine branches are seen at the terminal end of the axon. So like this we continued our lesson and it is finished. Thank you. Read the summary of the chapter. Thank you.